Hello! I've been playing a lot of Moonlighter 2 early access since it came out, and I've been loving it. While I do plan on making videos talking about the things that I like, this video specifically will be about the bugs and oversights that I found. Most of these are really minor and they don't affect stuff that much. I still think they're really interesting, and since there's so many of them, I'll do them in a rapid fire back-to-back kind of way with an explanation if I think it's important. And all of these are in order of when I found them, not importance. So starting with coming from the demo into the early access, you would get all the achievements you're supposed to have, but the back to business achievement only gets awarded when the cutscene ends. So you have to start a new slot to get this. You can't just continue from your old one. In the tutorial, the thing that's supposed to teach you how to play the game, you don't actually ever need to roll. Right after that, you also don't have to attack. You can just use your backpack. This also applies for the other enemies in the room too. Also, still in the tutorial, you don't need to use the gun. You can just walk around and kill him just like any other enemy. You also don't have to do the rupture tutorial either. Final thing you don't have to do is use the potion. You can just keep walking. Okay, I lied. There's one more thing you don't need to do. You can just turn around and hide. You don't have to keep running at all. And I'm counting these all as separate because the tutorial should teach you how to play the game by making you use the mechanics. You shouldn't be able to sidestep all of them like this. You can also run around and loop all the attacks super easily. Maybe the platform should be falling apart or something, but this just lessens like the urgency of actually trying to escape. There's also no attacks at the end despite the intense music when nothing's happening. Andre celebrates your return to being a merchant when you haven't even done the shop tutorial. Xenon calls his shoes mementos, but this was carried over from the demo to where you're actually selling him mementos. But now it's just his shoes, but he still calls them that. After the argument, Tomo takes like 3 steps and then teleports out of the shop. It's really weird. Xenon asks Will to go check on Tomo, but that makes the interaction between them feel really forced because why didn't he just go talk to her? When Tomo is talking about everyone wanting to leave Renoka, it lumps the player into that too. When I already don't like that that happened during a cutscene, I'm gonna make a video on that, but we never get a say. It's just assumed that we agree with Xenon and that it makes me kind of mad. Also related to that cutscene, it puts you in an area you haven't been allowed to go in yet. The teleport to somewhere completely new is very weird and jarring. I feel like the boxes should have been removed and you should have been allowed to walk there normally so you knew where you were, but you kind of assume you're outside the shop during this. I think the vault text should move a bit slower. It's trying to show it as a big, large, and like powerful entity, but the text moves just as fast as everybody else's does. It's weird that for the explanation of the Sun Eater, the text runs out of the box, and you can't even scroll down. You have to go in your inventory to read the rest of it. Wow, that vault was really cool. Too bad you can't see it because the room is still blocked off. And it stays like that for a while. You have to do a dungeon and then sell your things till you can see it. It says to buy materials from Nao, no? But you haven't even met him yet. You have no idea who he is. I think cheap sales should increase the perk meter by 2. It might be kind of overpowered, but it feels weird for the overpriced to be none, perfect to be 1, but then cheap to also be 1. It could be a trade-off where you lose profit, but you get 2 happy bars instead, because, you know, the customer would like it because it's so cheap. I think the shop system could have been better. I made a whole video on this, but I think the price finding shop was the wrong idea. The charm mechanic is so cool, and I think they could have been combined somehow, where you have to find the price, but then you can still charm them too. The trade-off would be that all the item prices would go down, so the charm system can bring them back up, and if you're good at using it, you would get more money than the old system. Or maybe you unlock charming later in the game through like a new shop tier, Scratch teaches it to you, but I think getting rid of it completely was the wrong idea. I think LiveMe said it pretty well, but Scratch just gives us the shop. And also, the most stingiest person in the entire world just gives us her shop for free. We're not even renting it anymore, it's just ours. I get that gameplay of us like needing to pay rent or something could be kind of weird, but Scratch just changes her behavior like this. She doesn't want any money or us to pay her in her future. Like, what happened to her being greedy for money? She's losing money right now. Before you can talk to Babel, you can just completely walk through them when you're not supposed to be able to do that. The Countess says excellent choice when you never buy anything. This is just the first time you've talked to them. Silver says, what am I seeing? But he is looking the wrong way. In addition to that, you can also just walk right through him. This girl looks at you, but you can't interact with her. I'm assuming this is supposed to be the NPC who gives you the bloblet that lives in your shop, but right now she just stares at you and says nothing, because the bloblet doesn't have a purpose because the new shop sucks. The button X to reroll is always there, even when you can't do any rerolls. It just makes it seem like you always have one, and there's no visual indicator telling you that you don't. I think when you don't have any rerolls, it should either not show up or be grayed out, not always be this bright white. The videos telling you how to use the weapons don't update when you change which variant of it you're using, even when the variant can completely change how the weapon is used. When taking the care package perk, all the items you get overlay each other all at once. I walked past this crate guy, but he is not playing the crate carrying animation. Right after that, I saw 2 crate guys. I don't know if NPCs are duplicated other parts of the map, but it looks a little silly. You can make this mini boss fall through the floor. Okay, wait, what? Let's go back. So I tried to replicate it, and along that line, if he's turning and walking, he starts to glitch through the floor. So you have to get him walking past that line and then turning in a direction. Yes. And then he falls through. Just like that. It's consistent.
I got it.
Eris saying good morning when it's the dead of night. This one isn't really that big of a deal, but technically Scratch is 2 places at once. In this animation with the bird on Xenon's head, the bird is kind of disjointed, but it's like a bird. It could be flying, so it's just an honorable mention. This replace button just doesn't work at all. You can use it to replace the air, but then when you use it to replace something, it doesn't work. It's not letting me replace it. That's the whole point. Sorry. When this slime launches from the launcher, it counts as your kill when you didn't kill it. This is what happened leading up to it, but this enemy ended up getting completely stuck. I'll let the rest of the clip play. It still takes damage and stuff, but he's just sitting there. I don't know why he got stuck, but he kind of... Look at him. What's wrong with this fellow? If I had to guess, it's because of all the ruptures at the start. Only the inside keeper has merchant progression, but I would really like it if the outside one did too, because everyone else is outside, so I don't want to walk back into my shop when I have a lot of money to spend. It would just be so much more convenient this way. This teleporter opens up as if you could go back a stage. It's probably because the front teleporter that takes you forward a stage also does this, and they just copy and pasted it, but it shouldn't, because you cannot go back a stage. These paintings have hitboxes, and on corners you could actually run into them. It doesn't look like you should be getting blocked though, so you could definitely run into them in combat and get hit. You can still punch them and get rid of them, but that won't stop you from getting hit if you didn't know about it. Okay, I wasn't recording, so you're gonna have to believe me. But one of the display cases that just float around in the air was hovering and phased through a bridge like this. They don't normally do that, so I don't think it's supposed to happen. But you just have to believe me. I wish you could look at the map whenever and not just when you're going to a new room, because knowing how many stages are left is really useful to know how you should use your relic curses. In this clip, I'm wearing armor that makes me deal more damage when I'm above 70% health, but is it active right now? Maybe or maybe not. I cannot tell, so I'd really like some type of indicator letting you know if it's active or not. If you manage to get on top of 2 large decorations and walk in between them, you can fall forever. It doesn't look right. The anchor disc does not work properly. It says it gains the battery's value when its own overcharged state is removed, but it takes the battery's value regardless of which relic's overcharged state it was. If you hover over an equipment Will has, leave the inventory, then come back, the description box will be blank. This works regardless of which one it is. The amount of vouchers you have should appear when you're in this area in general. They changed it to where you get a count when you're talking to Scratch, but you have to re-talk to her to spend more vouchers. So if you miss it when that dialogue window is open, you might forget if you have enough. So it should just be there all the time. Both of these artifacts are hovering outside of the map. And finally, the Super Punch. This thing is just... look at it. It is crazy. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. As a little bonus for making it to the end, here is a link to a short video where I talk about the Super Punch in more depth. I'll also have linked in the description the bug report I made in the Digital Sun Discord. But I have more bugs, so let me know if I should make another part with 50 more bugs. Also, this is my first video since they added my name to the credits. Yes! I am so grateful to be in such an amazing community, and the acknowledgement it feels amazing. So thank you so much, Digital Sun, and also thanks to Malandry for being the best community manager ever. He is the best. All right, well, goodbye, and I'll see you next time. Okay.